Hey, what's going on guys? Mixuba here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at a Grixis tempo deck for standard best of one. So this deck is similar to the Is It Tempo deck that we showcased, and not only me, but like a lot of YouTubers showcased on the channel about a month ago, and that was really focused on Goldspan Dragon on turn 5, generating 2 mana to protect it with a counterspell like Negate, Disdainful Stroke, Saw It Coming, or maybe interact with your opponents via Brazen Borrow or Bone Crusher Giant, that type of thing. Maybe use the mana to foretell. Basically, it relied on Goldspan Dragon generating 2 mana and then protecting itself. And we sort of have a similar vibe with this deck, but instead of only relying on protecting the dragon or countering our opponent's spells, we run black as a versatile form of removal, or not necessarily versatile, but more reliable form of removal than just having Stomp or like Scorching Dragonfire if you're worried. But yeah, so the removal we get in black is Heartless Act and Eliminate. Two eliminates because for smaller creatures we do have the Bone Crusher Giants, and more Heartless Acts because we have trouble dealing with bigger threats if we don't counter them, and Heartless Act really helps with that. Other black removal that we're splashing for is Extinction Event. I was considering running cards like Crippling Fear in the deck because we might be able to board wipe only our opponent while we have like a dragon online and like, named Dragon or something, but we can still sort of do that as long as our opponent has a even board while we have the dragon. The only even creature we actually have is Valky. So if you have Bone Crusher Giant, Brazen Borrower, or Goldspan Dragon, then you're pretty clear. That's like a pretty clean extinction event for even. Although we do have Shark Typhoon, which, can make big sharks, and you might not want to wipe those. But anyways, we are running Extinction Event all in all because I don't want to tax our mana more than it like already is taxed. We are a 3-color tempo deck, meaning we do have a lot of mana requirements to hit. We want double blue for cards like Saw It Coming and Brazen Borrower, and we definitely need double red for Goldspan Dragon. And while the black is kind of a splash, but also kind of important because, we rely on it to stay alive a lot of the time, we don't want to have two of all of our colors by turn 5. It can get kind of dicey. So we are going for Extinction Event in this spot, and I'm cutting some Behold the Multiverses to do it because we are best of one, and a lot of the time being able to sweep the board is going to be better than drawing 2 cards. And while there are like Sultai Ultimatum and Yoria decks that are still like lurking here and there in best of one, I find those a lot less frequently than I do like mono white or mono red aggro. So I do think the Extinction Event is worth it. At least, it's worth trying out. Another card we get access to in black is Valky, God of Lies, or Tibalt, Cosmic Imposter. So this card is, again, virtually free. We don't have to tax our mana at all to play it. Normally in like an Abzan or Dimir deck, you can splash red to have access to the Tibalt on the backside, but here we pretty much are a dedicated Grixis deck with a fair amount of black removal spells. I think this is honestly the way to go with Grixis. I've been asked to revisit the deck I did that kind of blew up a month and a half ago, but honestly, you might want to cut Croxus from that. I just feel like a lot of the cards are going to be the same, and I don't really just want to rehash the same deck, so we're trying out a different style of Grixis. The rest of the list is pretty standard. We have Negate because I do think running 1 Negate is fine. There are a lot of things you want to counter, and even in aggro decks, like counter the Cleave, counter the Sky Maul, especially if you're on draw go, being able to hold up like Heartless Act and Negate can be pretty key. Brazen Borrower, Bone Crusher Giant, the adventure creatures, you guys know and love them, you know and hate them. However you may feel about them, they are very solid cards. Saw It Coming as our Foretell counterspell, I think strictly better than Neutralize, at least in this deck, because foretelling on turn 2, if you really have nothing better to do, can come in super handy. And holding open a Foretold Saw It Coming off a dragon is very powerful. Obviously the dragon, getting some haste damage, generates some mana. If this thing lives for like a turn or two, you kind of go crazy. And I've been playing against this deck not super frequently, but enough. And they do typically end up casting their Tibalts. Then again, I also do play a lot of Control, so we can get to a spot where they actually cast the Tibalts. So we'll see how many Tibalts I actually cast, or how many Valkyries I actually cast today. I know it's going to be a bit difficult because I'm the type of player that if I can hold up counter magic or removal, I'm going to want to do it. So tapping 7 mana for a Planeswalker is going to be very hard for me to do, especially in this type of deck. And last but not least, Shark Typhoon, an alternate win con that scales up with a lot of mana, so Goldspan Dragon really helps with that. You can always slam it, but especially in a draw go deck. I don't exactly recommend it. Honestly, it's good at almost anywhere on the curve, being able to like chump block something, get a card, maybe trade for something, get a card, or make a giant blocker, start attacking your opponent, uncounterable threat, and replace itself. Just very solid all in all, especially in the style of deck we are trying to play. Mana base is pretty messy. So we have Temple of Deceit and Epiphany. Basically, any temple that that produces blue mana is one that we're going to play, and all the pathways, because, well, we're a Grixis deck and pathways are pretty much free, the mana base is skewed towards blue. We have more blue spells than anything in the deck, and we want double blue on turn 3, whereas we can wait till turn 5 to have double red, so it is more important to get double blue. We don't have room for Fabled Passage in this deck because of how taxing the mana is, but I wish I could fit it in, but we can't. And if you are really worried about the mana, you can cut this one Field of Ruin, which is mostly here for, what's the freaking card's name? Faceless Haven, that's it. But we aren't typical, is it, where that card has a really hard time getting answered. We have spot removal to actually take it out once he gets animated. But if you don't have access to that removal in hand, then you always have the removal spell on a land. So hopefully we don't get too punished for one colorless mana land, and if you are worried about it, you can just cut it for another swamp or mountain. I think I'd go for mountain because we do need double red instead of double black. So anyways, guys, that's it for the list. If you like it, be sure to drop a like on the video and consider subscribing. It motivates me to make more content. So that's going to be it for me, guys. Let's get into some games. Okay, so we're starting. We have all our colors and a pretty solid hand. So we're going to keep, get that nice Scry online, another Bone Crusher Giant. I'm not sure I'm going to need that, so we're going to put it to the bottom. It is a pretty solid draw, but I want to vary my options. All right, it gets white, and they go for a Shadow Spear. Okay, well, there's our dragon. Let's foretell this on 2. They might give me something to stomp, but they also might just go for an Aspirant, and then I'm happy to stomp it a turn afterwards. Hollow Blade. Yeah, we can bounce that. We also have Extinction Event. So we're going to put this on red, start building up our red sources, and we're going to pass. These Borrowers are really nice for bouncing Hollow Blade should they commit mana to equipping it. And normally, the Is It Tempo version would have a lot of trouble dealing with a Seasoned Hollow Blade, but we have the Extinction Event. Okay, so they're going to go for a Maul, which I think is fine. We're going to target the Hollow Blade, and we're just going to send it right back. Tempo plays. I think next turn, if we don't draw land, we're going to main phase the Behold. Yes, we're going to main phase the Behold. So I want to tap like this. I want to leave up red for the Bone Crusher Giant. Well, I mean, those are some lands. It's not horrible. I was hoping for untapped blue, but I think these are going to have to do. I don't want to be greedy and dig even deeper when I have 2 lands right here. So we're going to keep them. Now the question is to hold up Stomp or just to play this tapped. I think we play this tapped, get another Scry, another untapped land. I don't think we need it right now. So maybe I should have been greedy, but I don't think it's worth it. Like, what's their turn? Play Hollow Blade, pass, play Hollow Blade, suit up with Shadow Spear. Yeah, see, maybe another 2-drop. There you go. And both of that gets Extinction Evented. Another land. So now the question becomes, do we Dragon? I mean, we can Dragon and hold open Stomp. I don't even think it's worth it. I just think we want to wipe this board. Let's get a Field of Ruin online. And call even. Lots of Brazen Borrowers in an equipment matchup is going to be really solid. Okay, and we have the Field of Ruin for the Haven with absolutely no black removal, which is exactly the situation I was describing in my intro. 4th land, suit up Sky Mall. Naturally. So we want, I guess we can go for more blue here and then more black on the other half. I don't think it really matters. I want to get the dragon down, and I want to, well, yeah, dragon down. We're going to put this on blue. Tap out for, or not tap out, but tap for dragon, make the treasure. Opponent's gonna take it. Ooh, bit of a laggy animation. It's fine. And we have double Brazen Borrower, so we're gonna wait on that and see if our opponent wants to... Ooh, okay, Alseid. So do we bounce now? We can stomp the Alseid, and the opponent's pretty far from... or they're pretty far from 27 life. So if I bounce now, opponent just replays the speaker. We can always stomp the Alseid too. If we had 4 mana, it'd be a lot better. That is awkward. I think we can take a little bit of a hit. Alseid is awkward because it's not indestructible, it's protection. And they go for the equip, making the speaker a 4/4. And they go for a Sentinel's Eyes, not tapping out. Okay. So feels kind of bad. Now they're going to go to attacks, and I can basically force them to sacrifice the Alseid here. Let's make them do it. Autopay. It forces them to use the rest of their mana, and they do get the lifelink hidden, but I don't think it's the biggest deal because we can bounce it and then stomp it on its when it becomes a 1/1 afterwards. That's actually not bad. Do we actually cast the Valky here? I think we do. Alright, let's put this on black. I mean, we're going to need a lot of blue, and we really don't need that much black, so maybe we do just put this on blue. And we can go for the Valky, exile the speaker. And then the opponent powers up Faceless Haven. I don't love that line. Maybe we chill, just bounce it with Brazen Borrower. Okay. I want to Field of Ruin this Faceless Haven before I actually get the Valky down, so we're going to bounce this now. Get an attack with our dragon. I can technically go for the Valky and plus, but I like holding up everything, including the Field of Ruin. We have access to 7 mana. Okay, there's the speaker. Comes back down. And the second they pay for an equip, we can stomp it. I'm just looking at my mana, making sure I don't tap my Field of Ruin. Nice. Resolves, go to end step. Now we're going to take out the Faceless Haven instead of... Oh, I can actually wait for them to animate it and cast a Borrower. What's better? Borrower or take out Faceless Haven? I think we take out Faceless Haven so we can, like, cleanly resolve this Valky. But maybe we're just supposed to get our opponent dead. I guess the fact that I play so much control makes me want to go for more card advantage. I don't think we lose a card advantage game against them, especially with all this left. And I can still go for the Brazen Borrower. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Kind of slipped my mind that I get an untapped land. So we can pressure them either way. Let's take our Scry. No. Get in there. Get a nice little mana boost. Thank you, Goldspan Dragon. And look at me, I actually tapped out for something. I could have gone for Bone Crusher Giant, hold up Brazen Borrower, but I do like getting this on the board. And that's enough for the opponent. Yep, I do not see how they come back from that. But at least the Extinction Event showed how relevant it can be in an aggressive matchup. See, if that was another... If this Extinction Event was another Behold the Multiverse, we were in some pretty decent trouble. I still think it was possible to get out of, but it wouldn't have been as convincing as it was this game. Okay, against Lurrus. Hand isn't perfect. We need another blue source, but I think it's good enough to keep. All these adventure creatures mean we can just accrue a lot of value. Like, we can be 2-for-1ing them a lot. So we'll see if it's cycling, we'll see if it's mono black auras, or it could be rogues, and it's probably rogues, if we're being honest with ourselves. Yep. And there's the turn 1 Ruin Crab. Okay, at least we find another land. Take a scry. I mean, we'll keep it, but it's not going to stay there. That eliminate is going to the yard. Oh yeah. Another eliminate, another land. I think that's enough land for the game. So we're going to play this on red, and I think we're just... Well, I can foretell a Sot coming, but I don't think that's worth it. We're just going to pass and hold up the Brazen Borrowers and the Bone Crusher Giant. Uh-huh. Feels bad. Alright, what you got? Opponent not doing anything. Let's see if we can bounce this Ruin Crab. Send it right back home. I think the opponent should just let this resolve. I don't think it's a huge deal. Uh-huh. Another Sot coming. Okay, so I think I put this down. Well, I do want double red for if ever I draw a dragon. And this can technically be double blue, but I do think holding up Sot coming and Brazen Borrower is worth it. And we have plenty of red sources. So hopefully we can find one. Okay, so a little punished. If I went for a stomp on that and had this tap, that would have been really good. Okay, we let that resolve. We let them go to their turn. Windrobber, I think I'll stomp in response. Try to prevent the ETB. And if they want to drown here, then that takes up their mana. And then they don't get a crab trigger if they replay it. Yep, that's fine. Alright, mill me some more. Lots of land. Heartless Act, that's pretty good. Pretty solid. So what's the move? The Sot comings on 3 are very clunky. I mean, realistically, what am I doing? I can bounce and kill something, which might be the plan. Or we can just kill something. I think we play this now. Just get the tap land out of the way because 4 mana isn't as relevant as 5 is going to be. We'll put that to the bottom. We don't have the mana to cast it, and I don't exactly want it getting milled. I'm not foretelling these Sot comings because I can't risk tapping out. They go for the Ruin Crab. Do I counter that? I really don't want to, but I'm worried about removing it. Alright, fine. You can stay. And they might not have land. Okay, they have land. They don't have any main board escape cards, which in best of 3 we have in the sideboard. I think I take that 3 damage, and then on end step, maybe Heartless Act. Actually, not yet. We're going to be mana efficient and play out this Borrower. And then next turn we can hold up Sot coming and didn't say please. Sorry, Sot coming and Heartless Act. So, do we attack? I think we do. Oh, they might actually have a Thought Thief, which I would counter. So, it's not even that bad if they have a Thought Thief. Let's attack. It means the Windrobber can get in, but that's fine. And we pass. Okay. We do have to kill our opponent. They are going to mill us out pretty convincingly. Sure, go to attacks. No attacks from the Windrobber, and I think we go for the Heartless Act now. It stops me from taking 3 damage, and we are probably going to have to do that eventually. I'm hoping the opponent's going to stumble on land for a minute so this Ruin Crab doesn't get that much value. What you got? Lol made just domination, eh? So I can counter that, or I can just bounce this Brazen Borrower once they get control of it. I actually think it's just worth getting the value out of it, bouncing my own Brazen Borrower here. So, yeah. And I think the Wind Robber is holding priority. I don't actually think they have another Thieves Guild Enforcer. I think they would have played it to mill me for 2 more cards. Alright, so we pretty much replace the Borrower pretty much replaces itself. Now we still have access to the body and we still have access to the bounce on this one. Field of Ruin, no. I mean, opponent's probably going to mill it anyways, but that's okay. They would need to top deck land. They didn't hit land last turn. An opponent might be looking for an interval to lay out a... What's the freaking card called? Into the Story. I probably should have foretold these Saw It Comings. I think we go for a Heartless Act on the Crab. Use our mana. And then still hold up the Saw It Coming. I'm pretty sure my opponent has Into the Story. Alright, Crab down. Alright. And we're not going to target this Wind Robber because they'll sack it. And we're not going to play this because it plays right into them resolving a Into the Story. So if we foretell... I don't even think it's correct. I think we should have foretold last turn. I don't think it's correct to foretell now. I want access to counter and play Borrower. So we just hold everything. Plus we have access to a 4/4 Shark. Thought Thief. We do have Quad. We actually do have Quad Blue. So do I counter this or do I just bounce it and force them to play it on their turn? Alright, let's let that resolve. I have half my library left. I go for another Thought Thief. Okay. I think we counter this one. Well... if their last card's Into the Story, we're pretty much screwed either way. So I can play Brazen Borrower and make a 1/1 Shark and block. I can bounce and play Brazen Borrower. I think I counter this. I don't love double Thought Thief. It is a problem, but it is also what it is. They're going to get in for some pretty good damage, and we have to hope that this card isn't Into the Story and this card isn't Into the Story if I want to actually take this block. And I think we do make it. The opponent's going to make us hold up 3 mana for a long time. And I think now's a decent interval because we can trade with the Thought Thief. They might be baiting us, though. It would not surprise me. We take this block, and now we're completely tapped out. If the opponent has Into the Story, it's their chance. Land by Luris. Perfect. Okay, so that's another red source. We can counter the Luris. Put this on red in case we find another dragon. If I foretell this, I'll have access to 5 mana. I don't hate that. Alright. Let's foretell this. And we'll pass. We can make a 3/3 Shark, but the opponent also might go for the Luris. Okay, they just opt to attack with the Wind Robber, that's fine. We're kind of broadcasting that we have a counter by doing this too. Difficult match, and they go for the Luris. Alright, well, that's going to get countered. And they're cantripping the Wind Robber. They're really looking for a counterspell here. We've seen 1 drown, so it's very real. Like, it's a very real possibility. They just go for a Ruin Crab, okay. And they're going to mill me some more. Alright. I think now I say, screw it. I don't make them bounce with the crab. They have so much mana, and they're keeping... Oh, no, they're not keeping. They're going to the bottom. They have so much mana. I'm just going to go for this Borrower. And we are pseudo-rewarded. We find another one. Alright, get him for 14. I basically just want to put a clock on them. If they rip a Into the Story, I think I cantrip the Shark Typhoon to try to find a counterspell. And by cantrip, I mean make a 1/1 Shark and hold a 2/2 Shark and hold up 3 mana. Alright, let's max make a 5/5 Shark. Opponent had to kick a Bloodchief's Thirst, so that feels pretty good. They might have another removal spell, and it would have paid off if we had done the whole cantrip play. Okay, we draw all our Slot Cummings this game. That's pretty funny. I think at this point we don't even foretell them, we just want to hold up all the mana. We have 7, we might want to double spell Thieves Guild Enforcer, that's fine. I'm not in that much danger of getting milled out, although a Fabled Passage could get kind of awkward. Windrobber, that's fine. Opponent's not dead in the air, but they're close. Yeah, and that's why we don't see an attack with the Windrobber. But we have to watch our life total as well. I'm just gonna cast this Brazen Borrower. Before we do, we're gonna play this on the crab. And this could have been greedy, because right now they can cantrip the Windrobber, and if they find into the story they have a window, but they choose not to. So I mean, fair enough. And I'm gonna make them actually trade for the Brazen Borrower. Oh no, they just chumped the Shark. That's also an option. If we had another land, I'd probably foretell this. But as it stands, we have 7 mana, so I can Behold and Counterspell. So we're just going to pass. We're at 8, the opponent's at 6. They have 2 mystery cards, but aside from that, they're dead on board. And those 2 mystery cards literally can't save them because we have double Counterspell. Okay. So this is in the bag. A little bit, I'm not sure if you would say sloppy, but a little risky off some of the turns. And I think we played one of those turns where we didn't foretell a little suboptimally. But all in all, I do think we can close this out right here. So yeah, Agadeems, we just say no. And I got a hate comment for not killing my opponent fast enough. Piss off. There you go. Like I said in my response, if you don't want to see the rest of the game, you can just scoop. I'm legitimately curious to see what I would have found off the Behold the Multiverse, so I would just cast it to take a look. Sue me. Okay, yeah, hand is good. Let's go. We have all our colors. We are gonna need another red source, but that's fine. We already have a Brazen Borrower. I don't think we need a second one. And I like the variety of answers. We have bouncing, counter magic, removal, and the dragon, which is kind of jokes. Oh no, is this trickery? Oh, please no. At least that's double red. So what, this is blue, black, red, I guess? Put this on black and pass. Oh, this might be trickery. There was a pause, so they have a 0-cost spell. So maybe Stone Coil Serpent. Oh, look. Tormod's Crypt. Alright. Well, maybe we're not dead, because if they get Coma, we Heartless Act it. If they get like Ugin, we can bounce it. We'll see what they find. They hit another trickery. Yeah, suck it, mate. I actually hate facing trickery. Oops. At least they're a good sport. All right. Well, we're gonna put this on blue. Yeah. And we're just gonna chill. I mean, Dream Trawler would have been frustrating at best. If they have another 0-cost spell and trickery, I'm just going to be miffed. And it doesn't look like they do, but I've actually faced trickery decks who try to play out a real game after not mulliganing, and it appears that this is going to be one of those times. Alright, more blue. We can also just put this on red. So we just do it now. And we're going to tap like this. Actually, we're not going to tap like that, because that'll be stupid. We want to hold open all our colors. And foretell the Sot Coming, so next turn I can play Goldspan Dragon and hold up Sot Coming, and worst comes to worst, I can use it this turn. Uh-huh. Nice. We're actually going to put this on blue. We already have 2 red, we don't need much more, and we might want another black source in the future. Gotta use big brain pathway stuff. And we get the attack in, so we have Sot coming open. Alright, the fact that the opponent whiffed with their turn 2 trickery means we probably just have this in the bag, but let's say they hit something like a Vorinclex or even a Coma. We had Heartless Act. We also had Brazen Borrower to bounce a pesky Planeswalker that we could counter on the next turn with the Saw It coming. So I think play draw really did matter, but even if they would have hit something, as long as it wasn't like ridiculous like a Sultai Ultimatum or a Temur Ultimatum, then we honestly might have just been fine. Alright guys, and we are back. So for best of one at least, I definitely think Grixis is the way to go. Having access to so much spot removal and a sweeper in our main deck, in our main tempo deck, is just so powerful. You face some Yorion where the Extinction Event is bad, but it's not as frequent as when you face Mono White or Mono Red, where Extinction Event just simply shines. And if you don't like it, that's fine, just put the Beholds in, but I really do recommend you guys try it out. And the mana is very workable. I've never was like upset that I was in Grixis because the temples can tap for 2 colors of mana, and we have access to all the pathways now, meaning as long as you're smart and careful with your mana, then you should be fine because you have a lot of untapped lands, and while we do have 8 tap lands in the deck, we have a lot of stuff to do on even turns, right? Like, you have basically all of these as 2 mana spells. Both your adventure spells have 2 mana cost abilities. You can foretell this on 2, you can foretell this on 2 and then cast it for 2 mana, and you can also cast this on basically on turn 3 for 2 mana if you play a tap land. So because you can do so much with 2 mana, tap land into untap land into tap land is a very real play pattern, and it doesn't feel very punishing at all. And at that point, your mana should just be sorted out. Basically, I'm a huge fan of this Grixis deck, and I do think it is the correct way to play a quote-unquote Izzet tempo game, because we're not an Izzet, but I think the Black Splash makes this deck a lot more powerful. So that's the end of my ramble. Deck list will be in the description down below as always, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace out.